thrive and while others struggle, whether you're a consultant, a business owner, whatever it may be. Have you ever just sat back and wondered, why did their business take off and this other person's didn't? Let me share with you a brief story. Hang in there with me. I'm going to share a quick story with you so that you can see some of the biggest mistakes that new business owners make and how you can avoid them. If you're with me live, give me a hey, what's up, what's going on. If you're catching this in the replay, give me a hashtag replay. Hang in there with me. I'm going to share this story with you. This is real life. Saw this with my own eyes. So I'm in this group, and there are about 200 to 250 people in this group. And so we do these events, we do these mastermind sessions. Hey, Olivia. Hey, Professor Sunflower. I'm streaming on two streams. So if you see me looking the other way, it's because I'm also on YouTube. Hey, Roxanne. Hey, what's going on? Good you made it home safely. So I'm in this group. It has about 200, 250 members in it, and it's a big group. And I've been in the group for a little over 2 years, and you get great support, great resources. Hey there, little greenhouse. Hey, hey, hey. And so in this group, we did this event. And in this event, they did a challenge. And the challenge was to get people to really hone in and monetize their expertise and to create new businesses for people who did not have businesses and were trying to figure out how to get started. So let me tell you, in this mastermind group, there were two inspiring folks. We're going to call them entrepreneurs. They knew that they were skilled and talented. So the one, she always went live in the group. And that's how we all felt like we knew her. She always went live. She was telling us what she was thinking. She was this amazing person who had traveled. She's a world traveler. She's been all over the world, had all of these different experiences. She has a very charismatic personality. She's extremely spontaneous. And like when you look at her pictures, she's doing bungee jumping. She is jumping out of planes. She's doing all types of stuff. And it's absolutely amazing. And so she finally found where she wanted to reside, which was in Aruba. And so she had been living in Aruba for about 3 or 4, maybe 6 months, but she had been to Aruba several times. Hey there, Enrich Me Strategies. There you are. She said she had a blast at Iman Live 2024. That is so awesome. So I'm telling about the biggest mistakes new uh, business owners make. So she finally decided she was going to settle in Aruba. She said she'd been there several times. She loved the culture. She loved the community. She loved everything about it. So she settled in Aruba. So we're in this group. And then as we're thinking about what the new stream of income was going to be, some of us, we already had our businesses. And so we knew what we were doing as far as our niche. Some people did not. Anyway, so she came up with a really great idea. She said, I live in Aruba. I've been here for a few months. And I know that when people come in, they take you to all of these touristy things. And these touristy things are A, expensive, and B, it doesn't give you the true feel for what Aruba really is. She said, so I want to create a travel service where when tourists come into Aruba, they can get the real true feel of what it's like to be an Arubian. And so she put together these ideas, and she was saying how she can take them to some of her favorite restaurants. She can take them to some of the favorite local attractions, and she can show them what it feels like to be to be a real resident or to live in Aruba, because what everybody else gets is what they show you, which is very touristy. Now, in this same group is another young lady who lives right across the pond in the DR. So she's in the Dominican Republic, and she's a black girl, moved to the DR. Again, a traveler. Hey, Danette. Hey, hey. So she's a world traveler, been all over the world. I think that lady said she'd been to 52 countries. She'd been to 52 countries, and she's settled in the Dominican Republic because of the cost of living, the way she was able to live, the way the people treated her. So they were very similar stories, okay? And we're all in this same group. So the girl from the DR, she said the same thing. She said, when people come in, and we love to visit the DR, we love to visit Aruba. She said when people come in, they don't get to see the real DR. They get to see this version that's shown that's not the real DR. So the girl over in Aruba, baby, she's coming back each day. She done created her offer. She done went and talked to her vendors. She has created her landing page. She has her sign up list, and she has her pricing and her CRM to collect the money. She is ready to go. The other girl, and she had her logo, and she was ready to go. When she came on live, she was talking about how she went to all of her favorite restaurants, and all of this took maybe a week to pull together. She went and talked to her favorite people at the restaurants, told them, hey, I'm starting this business. If I bring people in, will you take care of them? And I'm bringing you business, and I get a kickback. So she's setting up her deal. She's getting her vendors. She's visualizing how these people's days are going to go. She is super excited. The other girl over in the Dominican Republic, she wasn't ready in a week. It took her a little bit longer, but she also did her landing page. She also came up with her offer. She also, thought about her vendors, but she also went to where the tours were. She went to where the tours were. So fast forward a couple of weeks later, it wasn't even a couple of weeks. The girl in Aruba, she got her first customer maybe within 3 weeks of all of this coming to fruition. She got her first customer. And with her first customer, because she went online, so she started sending out stuff online, doing lives, talking to people, and it just so happened someone was coming to Aruba, and so they hired her to take them around and to show them the real Aruba. Well, the other girl over in the DR, she decided, you know what, I've done this work, but I need to do some market. I need to understand my market. So she went to the tourist locations. She started talking to the tourists. She started asking them, like, what are you doing here? And keep in mind, this is a Black lady. And so she was looking to interact with more Black people. And she let them know, I live here. I've traveled all over the world. What are you coming here to see? Why did you pick those things? And so she's getting lots of information. Let me tell you just the gist of the story. The one entrepreneur was full of energy and charisma. Okay. She quickly created her offer to show the tourists the authentic side of Aruba. She pitched her services. She was enthusiastic, but she faced some challenges. You want to know what challenges she faced? When she got that one client, which was a group of 5 or 6 people, she came live to tell us about it on social media in our group. So the one client set of clients that she got, and it was about a group of 5 or 6. I can't remember if it was 5 or 6, but it was a nice size group. And that group, when they got together, she was super excited. But as she told the story, they had issues with the food. So she took them to her favorite places. Her clients did not like the food. She didn't take into consideration their allergies that they have, their sensitivities, nor their preferences. So she took them to mom and pop shops, which most of us would love. But if you're a vegan and you're going to a place that has all meat items or only 1 or 2 vegan items, that's not so much fun for you. She didn't take into consideration that everybody doesn't want to do all of that walking. So she had all set up where they were going to go, what they were going to do. She was super excited about it. And it took her by surprise when the people were complaining about the heat. They were complaining about the walking. There were lots of complaints. And so she tried to smooth it over. And in her mind, she said, why would people come to a location thousands of miles away from their home and think that it's going to be just like home? Why would you think you're not supposed to walk? Why would you think you're not supposed to be in the heat? And so this is what she's saying to us in the group. And so she had lots of complications. her customers' needs were not met, and they were, pretty upset by the experience. Now, on the other hand, the other entrepreneur, she took a strategic approach. She researched her market, she understood her clients' needs, and she refined her offer. So she didn't just go online looking for people, she went to the actual location where the people are. It's a lot of us who don't want to do that. So she went to the tourist locations, she talked to them, and she didn't even have to pitch her services. People were saying, "Can you show us around?" Because she talked to them, she made a connection with them, and she helped them to understand. And she got an understanding of what it was they wanted and why it was that they were traveling. And then she was able to refine her offer. And so the young lady in the Dominican Republic, she was able to get 4 or 5 clients that month, in 1 month, because she did the hard work first. And so when she pitched the offer, which she didn't have to pitch, because when you tell what you do, it sells itself. And so she talked to them about, these are touristy locations. In these locations, you're not going to see the authentic Dominican Republic. If I were you, I would want to see where people live. I would want to see the neighborhoods. I would want to see where the poor live, where the middle class live, and where the rich live, as well as where the celebrities live. I would want to eat at, the different types of restaurants and get some home cooked foods. I would want to go to the farm and talk to the people and see the things that come straight to, to the table. And so as she was talking, they were like, "Well, can you show us that?" And all she had to do was say, "I have a package because I have a tourist business where I help people to see that." And so she was able to get clients easily. She was able to satisfy their needs. It's a lot of us who don't understand. Excitement can get you started, but it is strategy that is going to keep you from quitting. I can tell you this, within 3 months, the girl in Aruba had quit. She had changed her business, she had stopped. And so she had to do all of the things all over again. She had to create another landing page. She had to get excited again. And I will tell you, to this day, she is still doing the exact same thing, which is why I came here to tell you all this story, because I tapped back into that group just to see what was going on, check on some of my good old friends that are in that group. I tapped back into that group. That's right, Danette. She said, like you did, you made sure this vegan queen ate well at Iman Live 2024. Thank you so much for that. I ate very well. You are so welcome, because we got to know what our clients' needs are. Absolutely. And so I tapped back into that group just to see, like what's going on, because I've been MIA for about 3 months now. And so I tapped back in, and guess what? She's back going live. She's back telling about her offer. She's back sharing what it is she's going to do. And the thing is, we all know how this is going to end. We all know how it's going to end. And so it made me go down the rabbit hole. It made me go down the rabbit hole. So I had to go to look to see where the girl in the DR, who did the same business in the Dominican Republic, I had to go to see how her business is doing. Y'all, her business is doing well. She's expanded. She's hired another tour guide. So she's employed someone who is from the DR. And so now she's helping to stimulate their economy as well. And she's expanded her offerings, and she's doing the things. She's loving her life, and she's making good money. Does she have challenges? Absolutely. But the one in the DR, she took a strategic approach. She researched her market, she understood her clients' needs, and she refined her offer. And she engaged directly with the tourists, that are already in the DR, instead of trying to go get people who are trying to come to the DR. But she also built a solid foundation, and that's why she was able to build immediate success. I want y'all to know that success in business isn't just about excitement, it's about strategy. And yeah, we get excited when we come up with a new idea or when the idea is downloaded into us. And yeah, we get excited and we get to doing things and we want to do the thing. But a lot of us want to do the thing that is fun. We want to plan the trip. We want to take the people. We want to meet with the people. We want to talk to the people. We want to teach the people. Those are the fun things. Those are the things that we're good at. I know because I had a live event this week, July 12th through the 14th. I had a live event and I loved it. It was fun. That is what it's about. Being able to talk to the people, being able to share your message with the people. But guess what? What fun is it when you show up to the event alone? When you show up alone. And when you are the only one there, it makes you feel like what you have is invaluable. Like no one's going to buy from you. And I'm not doing this anymore. This didn't work. No, you didn't do the work that you needed to do. You didn't do it because you were operating off of excitement and not off of strategy. The right approach can make all the difference. And so when she came back live today and she was telling about the new business that she's going to start, so notice she didn't try to refine what she did. She didn't try to reevaluate what went wrong, why it went wrong. And she didn't try to talk to the girl again from the DR. They're right by each other. Now, mind you, we said during that time, y'all should partner because a lot of people who come to Aruba also go to the DR. And so you can refer people over to her and she can refer people over to you. And the one girl, I think she was just so pumped up on excitement, like she is right now. She's excited. She's hosting a retreat. This is what she's doing now. She's hosting a wellness retreat and she's been really working on herself. She's been doing a lot of self care. She's been really working on self healing. And so now she wants to offer a retreat to other people who are working on self healing and self care in Aruba. She has all of the spots picked out. She has all of the people, all of the experiences. She has created her landing page. She is ready to go. And she was online in our group telling about this new experience, how excited she is, and how she already has two people signed up. So, of course, we are super happy for her. We are clapping. We are excited for her because you have two clients. But what's going to happen after these two clients have this experience? Do you have a way to get more clients? Do you have a way to get more leads? Do you have a way to bring more income into your business? And when these two clients come, you also need to pay the vendor. That was one of the questions that the people asked her when when she was online. They put it in the comments. They said, "So how much are you going to make off of this? Because it sounds like you're going to spend money paying for them to go to the morning yoga, paying for them to go for the midnight sale, paying for them to do this. All of those things cost money. And the price she said it was all included, which means she's paying for each thing out of the money that they give her. So, how much money are you really making? It's because she's building this off of excitement and not off of strategy. She didn't know how much she was making. She knew how much she was bringing in, but she didn't know how much she was making. And when I went down the rabbit hole to see what the girl over in the DR is doing, she has a consistent offer that she's still offering. She's refined that offer and she's expanded it to two additional offers, kind of like the good, better, best. And she's hired a local to be her other guide for when two families book at the same time. Her stuff is very clear what she's doing, why she's doing it. And to be quite honest, when I read it, it instantly said, this is for Black people who are traveling to the Dominican Republic, and you want people who, are of your culture to show you around and to help you understand life in the DR. And the service that she expanded into, listen to this, y'all. If you want to move to the DR, she has a guide or a service to help you to find your apartment, to get settled in and where you get your furniture from, all those things. So all she did was take the service that she was already doing and had already found success in, and then she found the hole that's now being created. So she brings these people here. Instead of them seeing all of the touristy stuff, she shows them real life in the DR. They get to seeing real life in the DR. Some of them decide, I think I'm going to move here. I like it here. That creates a new problem. I need to know what I need to do to move here. She expanded her business to solve that problem. You see what I'm saying? That's because she's working off a strategy and not excitement. While we got, on the other hand, my girl from Aruba, who is just steady putting stuff together. Y'all, when that girl said she had already booked those locations, I was sitting there shaking my head. She had already booked these locations. She's putting money out and does not even know if she's going to be able to make that money back. And it's because she's super excited. And I love the fact that she's doing the work on herself and that she is working on healing. But you know what? We got to stop working off excitement. I want to know, like, if we can be honest, if we are willing to share, you know, have you ever done something out of excitement and not out of strategy? And why? And then the part about it is, this girl really needs a coach who is going to stop her and say, no, no, no. Remember when you did this? Remember when you first started your business in Aruba? You did that. And then you started the yoga business. And then you did this. Each time it was the same. So let's take a different approach. The problem is, she wants the exciting part, but she does not want the part that includes the work. Even though she was in Aruba, she could have did what the other girl did, which was to go to where the tourists are, talk to the tourists, and tell them what your services are, and pitch immediately. And pitch immediately. But there are some people who they just want to do the fun part. Stop booking these resorts. Stop booking these retreats. You ain't got no email list. You don't have a customer. You don't have a client. The goal is to pitch your offer, get a buyer, and then create the thing. It's not to create the thing, spend all of your money, use all of your time, and you don't have a customer or a client for it. We keep working backwards, and I want us to stop doing that. Any questions? If you got a question for me, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. If you have a question, put it in the chat. So I want us to know that success in business is just, it's not just about excitement. Yeah, we want to be excited, and excitement is good, and we encourage you to be excited. If you're not excited, I don't know what you're doing. But you got to have strategy. And if you don't have the strategy, go and get the support that you need to provide the strategy for you. One of the things that we recommended to the girl is that you need to get someone to help you with execution and implementation. So she really needs someone, and that can be an assistant. It does not have to be a partner. It can be someone who she's going to hire. She comes up with the idea, she's doing all those things. Well, this assistant is now going to put the pieces together behind the scenes that need to happen before this offer can go out. Forever Teacher says that doesn't make sense. This sounds like those teachers who don't want to work, and always want to go on field trips and lead the dance team. See, see, see. Okay, they're ready for the event. They can't. They love to put on the play. They love to do the dance team to come out. They love all of those other things, but they don't want to send the email out to the parents. They don't want to send the communication to the schools. They don't want to be there doing the practice, helping the girls to get everything together. They don't want to get the material that's needed to decorate the gym. They don't want to spend time after school, but when it comes time for the event to happen, they show up in their cute outfit and want to take center stage because they want that shine. They're excited by all of those parents coming in. They see the limelight and they are ready to go. This is what I'm talking about, forever teaching. That's what I'm talking about. Because those teachers operate off of the excitement. They want to talk about what's going to happen, and they truly, truly are excited. But you also got to have strategy. You got to have people in the seats. You got to have a way to make money. It's not doing you any good to do all of these things, and you're not going to make any money. We got to stop doing this, folks. I see people, they say, I'm going to, create this. And they get to creating. You ain't got not one buyer. You don't even know if the people want the thing. You don't even know if they will buy it because you haven't pitched it to anybody, because you don't want to pitch it. You don't want to talk to anybody about actually paying you for the thing. You just want to do the task of doing the thing and feel the excitement of people enjoying the thing. And that's not okay. That's not okay. We got to stop ourselves in our tracks. And I understand that you are passionate and that you love this, but you're also a business owner. And business is not just about passion, business is about strategy. And it broke my heart when I went into the app this morning, and there she was again. There she was. She was right there. And she was telling us all about her offer, the same excitement. She's hosting this wellness retreat, and it sounds amazing. And when you went into the comments, the people were clearly asking her questions to help her. They were saying, do you have an email list? Do you have any people who are already buying? What is the transformation that you're going to provide? They were asking her real questions. And she kind of answered over the question, which lets us know that she's not prepared. And she feels like because she has two or three people signed up, that this is going to be some big event. The question that I wanted to ask her, I did not, was what happens if only the two or three people show up? The three people who have made a commitment to show up, what happens if those are the only three who show up? Because that's the part that is, we have to think about. Of course, we know, and we always say, but this doesn't always happen, that you still show up in your fullness. For one client, two clients, three clients, for 30 clients, for 40 clients, it doesn't matter how many it is. But the question is that what's going to happen? And then truth be told, if she has three people signed up, at least one of those people are going to cancel. At least one of those people will cancel. But she hasn't done the research to understand that just because just because she made the offer, hey there, glow up, hey, she doesn't understand that just because she made the offer and just because they may have paid doesn't mean that they're going to actually show up, that they're going to actually take the flight, that they're actually going to do the thing. And that's a piece that is missing. So I want us to be honest with ourselves and to really answer the question: are you operating off of excitement, or are you operating off of strategy? And the sad part is, the part that I feel bad for her about is that she's in a group of successful people. And these successful people, they're asking her these questions for a reason. They're not asking her these questions because they're wanting to know the answer. They already know the answer. These are people who have seven-figure wellness businesses. These are people who are operating eight-figure hair care businesses. These are people who have done the work. They've done the work. And so when we hear these tales of the entrepreneurs who don't make it in business, who have this negative taste, and they say, everybody wasn't meant to be an entrepreneur. You're absolutely right. Everybody was not meant to be an entrepreneur, but everybody can be if you choose to be. And there are people who can help you to see how to do it, and they can give you strategy and help along the way. But the problem, I see part of the problem is she's in her own way. She doesn't have any accountability, and she doesn't have any implementation support. And that's an area that she's not strong in. We talked about that over the weekend in my conference. We talked about what is your gifting and what is your gap. Like, we know what our gifting is and we know what the goal is, but what is the gap that is there that's keeping us from getting to where we need to be? Because we absolutely can achieve the thing, but we do have to understand what is, if this is my gift and this is my goal, what's the gap? It's a gap because Your gift and your goal should be working to give you the life of your dreams. If that's not happening, there's a gap. What's the challenge you're dealing with? What's the struggle that you're dealing with? And she has not been able to identify that her struggle is that she does not do a good job of implementing and of utilizing strategy to move her forward in her business. And so pretty soon she will be burnt out again. She'll take a step back. She'll go get another job. That's what she's been doing. She went and got a job locally in Aruba, working for someone else, doing the exact same thing, which was touristy. But let me also say this before I go. Let me say this before I go. One of the things that she didn't realize as we were listening to her, I know as I was listening to her, is that she's a spontaneous person. She is very charismatic. She has an amazing personality and she's a world traveler. She's traveled all over the world and she loves the excitement. But is that who her clients are? So she built that program based off what she wanted, based off what she missed, based off what she wished she had. Is that what her clients wanted? I went to Aruba. I went to Aruba. It's absolutely beautiful. I did not use her services. Had she had a service that I could have used, I would have loved for a beautiful black woman to show me around Aruba and me not spend all my money with them tourist people because I like to see the authentic locations that I'm going to. And so I didn't use her. Good afternoon, Venice. Hey, hey. So I didn't use her. You know why I didn't use her? You know why? Because the things that she was doing, they wasn't for me. I'm not her client. Her client sounds like people who are extremely spontaneous, who love adrenaline pumping, who are looking for excitement. That ain't me, baby. When I go out of town, when I go on vacation, I'm looking for luxury. I'm looking for relaxation. I still want to do some things, but you can bet your bottom dollar I'm not on zip lines. That phase of my life is over. You can bet your bottom dollar I'm not doing 6 mile walks. You can bet your bottom dollar that I'm not doing a 6 a.m. yoga session. I'm not doing those things. Now, for the people who love that, they love that. But when she created her business for someone who's just like her, so she needs to go and find those people where people like her hang out. And so she's pitching to the wrong people. But furthermore, are those the typical people that visit Aruba? Because Aruba can be on the expensive end. Most people who visit Aruba are not adrenaline junkies. They're not, it's not even a lot of adrenaline junkie stuff to do. And she found it all. So make sure that the business that you're building is not just for you, but it's for the people who have a need. What is the need? What is the gap that you'll be filling? Her gap that she planned to fill was that when Black folk come into town, come into the country, they have someone that can give them a Black experience in Aruba, which was the exact same thing. Professor Sunflower said, you just gave me an idea. Girl, what's the idea? What's the idea? Ain't nobody gonna steal it, and even if they do, just like this girl. One was in the DR, one was in Aruba. That she came up with the idea, and the other girl said, this is what I can do. She didn't steal her idea. She was inspired by her idea. She was inspired, and it's good to be an inspiration to other people. So when she thought about what it was she was going to do, she didn't think about the people who would be coming there. I would love the Black experience in Aruba. I would love the Black experience in the Dominican Republic. Now, when I go to the DR, I will be using the other young lady. I will be using her because she takes all of the client's needs into consideration. She takes the food needs, like when she showed us her site online. She talked about food, she talked about mobility, she talked about weather, she talked about not only just the types of food, but she also listed the times that we would eat. She had snacks available. You could do a closed tour or an open tour where it's just you and your family, where you pay a little bit more, or you can have you with other groups where you pay a little bit less. And so she really thought through, what is it that my clients need? And the other one thought through what it was that she wanted. And that's what she delivered. And that's the difference that you see in the two. One was built off strategy, the other was built off of excitement. People, we cannot build our businesses off of excitement. Hey, the SW Life, that's Sharon Washington, y'all. That's the marketing person. And she'll tell you, look, excitement is not the strategy. Now, it can be part of it. We all do need to be excited about our businesses, but we got to have strategy, because what is going to happen when that excitement leaves? When you are no longer excited, or when it gets hard. When it's hard, we're not as excited. I'm telling you, I was putting on a whole event that I was super excited about. But y'all, that thing got hard, okay? I had to make some decisions. I had to do some things, and it was hard. And in that moment, I wasn't sitting there talking about, oh, I'm super excited about this. I had to have my assistant. I know when I'm, lacking on something. I had to tell my assistant, make sure I do this. Don't let me weasel out of this, because I know me. I'll find other things to do to not do that thing. And she would send me a message. She would say, did you do X? And I look at that message, I'd be like, oh, I didn't do it. She sent back, did you do X? And then I look at that message. Do you know my assistant showed up at my house? She showed up at my front door. The doorbell rang. My phone said, someone is at your door. I looked, Miss Stacy was at my front door. I went and opened the front door. When I opened that front door, she said, did you do X? Come on, let's go do it now. And we went, and I had to do the hard thing. People, you need people in your life. You need the excitement was gone. The excitement wasn't there. And then once I faced it and went ahead and did it, then guess what? I was back to excited. I was like, okay. It's done, it's done, it's done. Tomorrow, I got something I got to do tomorrow. I don't want to do it, y'all. I don't want to do it. This is the problem. Excitement is not the strategy. You got to have some real strategy. You got to be willing to face your fears. You got to be willing to do the thing that you don't want to do. But this is what I will tell you. If you do the work, your offer will sell itself. Your offer will sell itself. People will be able to see where they fit into what it is you're doing, what it is you're selling, what it is you're offering. They will see how they fit into that, and they will ask you, how do I work with you? What do I need to do? Can you send me more about that? They will talk to you, but you got to be clear. You got to understand your client's needs. You got to understand the market that you're working in, and you got to be willing to talk to people. Okay. You see, the SW Life said truth. Good morning, Care Cozy, or afternoon. Hello. So I want us to just understand that we really can have the things, but we can avoid all of these pitfalls. We can avoid all of these big mistakes. We can make sure that we are doing the things that successful people did. And we got to stop jumping into stuff and thinking that we can do it by ourselves. That's the hard way to do things. Stop making things hard. And I know that some of us are addicted to the struggle. Let go of the struggle. Get you some mentorship, get you some support, but most importantly, y'all follow directions. Do what the people done told y'all to do. At least give it a try. And then once you give it a try, see if it works or not, and then tweak it. Stop trying to skip steps. Stop thinking that you can go from step 1 to step 5. That's not the way it works. Your legs won't even stretch enough for you to step up to step 5. And that's how your foundation is wobbly underneath. And so I want us all to have great success. And I'm not going to pretend with you. Is it going to be easy? No, it's going to be hard. But you are already doing hard. Do hard with a bigger reward. Do hard with a bigger reward. I would rather have intense short-term pain than to have long-term pain. Give me the intense short-term pain. That means that for this short amount of time, it's going to be extremely painful. It's going to be uncomfortable. I'm not going to like it. I don't want to do it. I know I have to do it. I'm going to get through this. But I can do anything temporarily. But to sit in long-term pain, pain that lasts 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, that does not make sense. That is a choice that you are making. Stop sitting in long-term pain. Pain is a part of life. We're going to have pain. But how about we're going to sit through this pain so we can be in the pleasure even longer? I sat through my pain. I was in that pain and it was intense. But now I get to be in pleasure longer. All y'all who choosing long-term pain, all of y'all, stop doing that. Because all you're doing is robbing yourself of your years of being in pleasure. You're shortchanging yourself. All right, y'all. That's all I got. Professor Sunflower said, following directions is the key. And as educators and degree people, we think that because we got doctor in front of our names and all these degrees and certifications and numbers behind our names, that we got all of the answers. And I'm going to tell you, like I tell myself, if you had all of the answers, why are you not living the life of your dreams? And why are you not doing the things you want to do since you got all of the answers? These degrees don't mean a thing. And a thermometer got a whole bunch of degrees on it, okay? We got to stop. Educated people are the people who make the least amount of money. That don't even make sense. That does not even make sense. That don't make sense. We won't take a risk. We won't try anything different. We're in 2024. I got my first notice from YouTube. On YouTube, I made $5.33. Y'all on YouTube for free. Y'all on YouTube for free. They tell you how to make money, but we so smart. We are so educated. We got so many degrees. Girl, I'm not doing that. I'm a teacher. Girl, I'm not doing that. They tell you how to make money. They tell you how to make money. They show you how to make money. And what do? We say, girl, you know, I'm an educator. Yeah, you should put broke in front of that. I'm a broke educator. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. And Educator's Life says you're always dropping nuggets. Thank you so much. You are so welcome. Because we got to change this. Hey, Care Cozy. Hey. Who is that, Alonda? Hey. So I want us to make a difference. I want us to change. Y'all, we got to get out of this system that is keeping us stuck. And I'm not saying quit your job. Y'all, that ain't what I'm telling you. That ain't what I'm telling you. If you don't want to quit your job, sis, don't quit your job. But that don't mean that that's the only money you can make. Stop settling and stop letting people tell you how to live your life. And don't be like this one entrepreneur that I just told y'all about. It is so sad for us to see her in her excitement, in her planning stage. It breaks our hearts. We have conversations about this girl. Do you hear me? We want to help her, but we know that she's not going to listen. We know that we cannot help her. There are people in your life who want to help you, and they know you're not going to listen, but you'll listen to somebody else. Y'all get out here and get you somebody who knows how to do what it is that you're doing or want to do, someone who's done it successfully, and someone who's going to tell you when you're messing up. Like, you got to have somebody who's going to say, do you mind if I coach you? That's what I ask people when I'm about to go into coaching mode. I'll say, do you mind if I coach you? And if you don't want me to coach you, all you got to do is say, nah, I think I'm good. All right. Oh, thank you. No problem. But if you want me to coach you, I'll say, okay, so you, like, if that girl, if I were to send her a message and say, let's get on a coffee chat, I would ask her, do you mind if I coach you? And when she says yes, I would say, I recall in this same app, you've launched at least 3 offers that I'm aware of. And I'm not always a consistent figure in the app, but you've launched at least 3 offers. How much money did you make from those 3 offers? She would give her figure. And I would say, how much did you want to make? She would give her figure. And then I would ask her, so what is the challenge? What's the gap? What is happening that's keeping us from the goal? And I would let her talk me through it. And as she's talking me through it, I would be listening to what it is that she has to say. Here's where most coaches fail. They don't want to say the hard things. They don't want to say the things that may impact your feelings. You can say things respectfully, and you can say things to move people forward, and you can help people to brace. Like, sometimes we have to help people to brace themselves for what is about to be said, because we know you have not had anyone to talk truth to you. And so when people say things like, okay, you love me, right? That means there's something to come that's going to make you feel like you not loved at this time. Yeah, we know the little psychological games. Y'all know them. You know when you hear it. When somebody call and say, I need to tell you something. You already know it's something you don't want to hear. When your spouse comes and say, we need to talk, you already know this is something that they're bracing you to tell you. We need to have a conversation that you don't want to have. It's helping you to prepare yourself. And so when you have a coach, you got to have somebody who not only understands the work, but also understands the blocks that you are experiencing, and who can get you out of that loop that you keep ending up in and going through. Why would you get a coach that allows you to stay in that loop? That girl been in that loop for almost 2 years now. In 2 years, she's had, to my knowledge, 3 offers that she's launched, and she's also had 3 jobs in between. She's in a job right now. That's because she's caught in a loop of her own behavior, of her own lack of discipline, of her own lack of structure. And so she needs more than just this group that we're in, that you log on when you want to, that you do what you want to do, you listen to these videos, and then you come because people are just talking about the videos. She needs more than that. She needs a higher level of accountability. She needs some implementation support. But more importantly, she needs a true coach who's going to support her. Roxanne said, that's where I am. Y'all, Roxanne, stop playing with me. Roxanne, stop playing with me. Y'all, Roxanne trying to get me started. Roxanne trying to get me started. Y'all, Roxanne is trying. For people on YouTube, Roxanne is on Instagram. And Roxanne says, that's where I am. The loop. Roxanne is in the loop. Roxanne is one of our accountability partners. We've pointed this loop out to her. Roxanne knows that she's in a loop, and she will get a coach, and she will do the things. Hey, Ann Williamson. Hey. Roxanne will do the things. And then Roxanne will go right back to the things that she wants to do instead of the things that she needs to do. That's because Roxanne, again, has to have a coach who is going to stop her in that loop. And unfortunately, in the accountability groups, we're not her coach. We're not her coach. We're her colleagues. We're her colleagues. Roxanne has made money. Roxanne knows what she's doing. Roxanne is highly gifted and talented. That's right. Roxanne says, and I get excited. She does. She gets really excited. And through that excitement, she will do the things. But then there are other things when we say to Roxanne, have you been emailing the people? Have you been reaching out? Do you have your email list going? Those are not fun things to do, people. Those are not fun things. Kara Cozy says, I'm also in the loop. That's why I'm getting in this mastermind, to get the support and expertise that I need. Kara Cozy needs to get into this mastermind, because we get you out of that loop. Because guess what? It takes a lot. It takes a lot of, effort and self-discipline for us as coaches to be committed to telling you the truth. Like, you all have no idea the level of self-work that I have to do on myself to make sure that I'm not judging you, to make sure that I'm not looking at you from a belittled standpoint, to make sure that I'm not doing anything that's going to fracture the relationship. But if I love you and I want the best for you, I got to tell you the truth. Most people would be willing to lie to you. And we pay for lies. We pay for validation. Oh, girl, you doing good. Oh, yeah. Keep going. All you got to do is keep working, girl. It's going to work out for you. Ooh, girl, you on your way. You on your way. And then when you don't get to your way, you don't make it to your destination. Then they say, well, okay, well, let's try something else. Well, after you keep trying, you're going to get burned out. Like you're gonna get tired of trying and failing. Nobody wants to keep doing, fail, do, fail. Nobody enjoys that. We gotta have some wins. And a lot of the winning is in our discipline, in our support, in our effort, in our expertise, and in our comfort. And so you gotta have that person who's gonna tell you the truth. Now, what happens? Let me tell y'all what happens to the people who tell the truth. It backfires on us. It backfires on us. And we become the villain. We become the villain. We gotta be willing to own it. We gotta be willing to own it. I'm that person. I'm going to tell you the truth, not because I'm trying to hurt you, but because I love you and I know that you can do better. And I know that you got it in you, but I'm also not going to let you tear yourself down. I'm not going to allow you to say, that was so dumb. That was just stupid of me. I don't know why I did that. No, sis, we're not doing that. We did it. It didn't work. That's okay. Stuff happens. Now, let's be a little more strategic in this next one. We're not beating ourselves up over it, but we're going to understand these patterns of behavior. We got to understand the pattern of behavior. When I told Miss Stacy, don't let me not do this, it's a pattern of behavior that I recognize in myself. And the way that I recognize it is that people have pointed it out to me. And I'm not going to fix it on my own. Some of us have stuff that we can't fix on our own. And so that's why Miss Stacy showed up at my house, because she saw me in that loop. And what was going to happen was the moment was going to come where I was going to have to face the thing face to face. But guess what? It was going to be too late. See, for some things, it does have a time expiration. And Stacy showed up at my door to get me out of that loop. Do you even know what needs to happen to get out of that loop? Listen to him. I think that's Adrian. An on-time word. Yes. And so we got to get out of this loop, y'all. Excitement is not a strategy. We got to do things. Do y'all think that I just have all day just to sit online with y'all? Well, y'all know I ain't finna do that no way. But I realize that there are people who need my message, who can learn from my mistakes, who can learn from some of the things that I've done. And I can't be so, standoffish and playing myself small, saying, oh, don't nobody need this. Oh, that ain't nothing. They probably already know this. We do this to ourselves. Y'all, get you a good coach, get you a good mentor, and don't have multiple mentors in different things. I have a financial mentor. We have a somewhat marital mentor that we need to find a new set, because they are now ill, because they're much older. Because again, we've been married for almost 25 years. So most of the people that we know that have been married this length of time, they're much older. And so the wife died, the husband is still alive. He talks to us and has conversations with us, and now he is really ill. So we also have to be working on finding our next marital mentor. Then you got to have spiritual mentorship. It's a lot going on in these churches these days, and a lot of, just because somebody say that they know the word, that don't mean they anointed. That don't mean they are appointed by God. People are appointing themselves these days, and so you got to have your spiritual mentor. I'm just saying, we have to know what it is that we need. And when we find out what it is that we need, we have to go after it and do the thing. What did she say? Stacy displayed encouragement and accountability to endure. Absolutely. Absolutely. She did. Because she came to my house, knocked on my door. I can show you on my Ring on my Ring camera. You can hear the whole conversation. When I opened the door, she said, "Did you do it?" She didn't say, "Hey, how are you?" She had a goal, and that was to make sure that I did what it was I was supposed to do. And so I just want us to, we got to get out of this excitement. And I don't want to say get out of it. Keep the excitement. The excitement is good. The excitement is good. The excitement is good. But you got to have strategy. Look at there. Oh, Tasha Scott. Hey, girl. Hey. Tasha, we just finished Iman Live 2024. We had an amazing, how are you? So I want y'all to know, build your business off strategy. We need the excitement, but that can't be the only strategy. And if you're building it off of just excitement, you're going to get caught in that loop. Get out of that loop, y'all. Get out of that loop and be willing to work with someone who's going to tell you the truth. But even if people telling you the truth, if you're not going to listen, it's not going to matter anyway. You got to come in as a student, and you got to be willing to unlearn some of the things that we have already learned. And they served us for that time, for that time. But in this time, 2024, it ain't the same. We're trying to do stuff the way it was done in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the way our mamas and grandmamas taught us. But that's not moving you to where you need to be because you're living in a different time. I can't raise my kids the way I was raised because my kids are being raised in 2024. So why would I raise them like they're in the 70s? That don't make sense. But that's what we do. We work backwards and then we wonder why we're behind. We won't play the game and then we wonder why we're losing. We want to sit back and watch people win. We're scared to take any risk. Fear dominates our life, and we give up so easily because we don't have people around us that when we fall, they come and they help us up. They give us a hand up. They tell us, girl, get up and dust them knees off. Girl, it's a little pain, but it'll go away. It don't take long. It's okay. You ain't got to be in. It's going to be a little pain, but you keep moving. Hey, everybody educates. Hey. And so we got to be willing. We got to be willing to do the thing. I'm telling you, intense short-term pain, I'll take that any day over long-term sustained pain. We're staying in marriages. We're staying in jobs. We're staying in relationships that have been long-term pain for us because we don't want to go through the short, intense pain of getting a divorce. We don't want to go through the short, intense pain of breaking up and needing to move into a different place. We don't want to go through the short, intense pain of needing to sell our house that's drowning us in debt. We don't want to go through the short, intense pain of fixing our credit so that we can do the things that we want to do. I would rather do the short, intense pain, because we can do anything temporarily. It was what I've told myself ever since I had 2 kids back to back. My kids are exactly 1 year apart, November 30th and December 1st. And I knew it was going to be hard. I didn't go into that thinking it wasn't going to be hard, and it wasn't an accident. I knew it was going to be hard. I own the fact. See, some of y'all want people to, they try to tell y'all, stop saying it's going to be hard. Girl, stop, it's going to be hard. Girl, stop, it's going to be hard. We can do hard things. We can do hard things. And I said, okay, if I do this intense, short pain for a year, the rest is going to be easy selling. And look at me now. I got an 18-year-old and a 17-year-old. One has graduated high school. The other one is a senior this year. When I say it's easy selling, it's easy selling because once I finish this year, I'm done. I don't have to do any more parent-teacher conferences. I don't have to do any more pickups and drop-offs at the game. We had to drop them off this morning at baseball. This part of my life is going to be over. But imagine had I spread it out, then I would have been finished with that one, but then I would have still had 5 more years with this one to do the same thing for 5 more years. That's not what I wanted. Now, y'all may have wanted that. I can't tell you what you want. I know what I wanted. I did the short, intense pain for long-term pleasure over long-term pain. When I had to file bankruptcy, that was painful. It was short, intense pain. This is going to be my situation for a year or two. But if I do the things I need to do, I can restore my credit. I can restore my life. I can restore the things that I need. But more importantly, I can get financial literacy. I filed the bankruptcy. It broke my heart to have to file the bankruptcy. It was not a decision taken lightly because in my mind, I had told myself all these things about if you file bankruptcy, that means you broke. If you file bankruptcy, that means that you don't know how to manage money. If you file bankruptcy, you ain't gonna never be able to have a house. You ain't gonna never be able to get a new car. Oh, I have filled my head with all types of stuff. But guess what? And guess what? All of the people around me, they were saying, I don't know if I would do that. Just pay the debt off. Just pay it. Girl, that don't make sense. Why would you file bankruptcy? You messing yourself up. It's gonna take you 10 years to get yourself together. That thing stay on your credit report for 10 years. That's what they was telling me until I talked to a realtor. When I talked to a realtor who was highly successful, that lady told me, she said, honey, this is what she said to me. She said, honey, I understand your situation. She said, I will file bankruptcy and I will put all of that on the bankruptcy. And think of this as a fresh start. She said, this is a chance to do a do over. She said, this is your fresh start. She said, now, if you go and do the same thing that you did before to get you into this situation, that means you didn't learn your lesson. She said, but if you take this as a chance to give yourself a fresh start, you can live a different life. She went on to tell me, she said, I filed bankruptcy before and I have a beautiful home. I have cars. She said, my credit is better than it's ever been. She said, so maybe you've never seen people who filed bankruptcy and came out on top. And when she said that, it made complete sense to me. I had never seen anybody who filed bankruptcy and wasn't still struggling and didn't still have bad credit. And it's because they continue to do the things. So when she said that, that shifted something in my head. It shifted something in my brain to say, oh, that's because everybody who I talk to about this problem that I'm having, they are still struggling with that same problem. But here's this lady who doesn't even know me, who's telling me her story, and her story is dramatically different. Y'all, I filed that bankruptcy. And when I filed that bankruptcy, I went and I got into Financial Peace University, and I took those classes and I took them seriously. I followed the steps that the bankruptcy people gave me. They tell you exactly what to do, how to restart your credit. Don't go out here applying for stuff. Do the things. They told me exactly when the discharge was going to happen. They told me every step of the way. The problem with a lot of us is that we can't follow directions. We can't follow directions. I know somebody right now. They filed bankruptcy. Within 6 months, they was out trying to buy a new car. Them people tell you, don't do that. They tell you, go get your secure credit card, get the amount, send the deposit, make the payments, use it, let it build your credit. They tell you what cards you can get, what you're eligible for. They tell you, don't you look at that mail. Everybody's going to be sending you mail trying to get you to reignite this credit. She said, don't do it. Don't do it. Follow this path and you will get to success. Here I am today, y'all. That was 15 years ago. Here I am today. I have not faltered. My credit score, if it's not 800, it's darn close to 800 because it fluctuates. And we have two credit scores. But last I checked, I was at like 782 on one. And on one, I think I was at 802 or something. It was it was a gap in between them. I don't know why. But all I know is that when I fill out for stuff, I get it because I make sure that I follow the guidelines that they've given me. I had to listen to people who have been successful. When we got ready to buy our next home, people have said you couldn't get a home. You filed bankruptcy. I'm in a home, y'all. I'm in a home. This home is in my name. It's on my credit. I got a car, y'all. I went and got a car. That's how I got my 2016 Honda Accord. That was a brand new car. Before that, I had a 2009 Honda Civic, brand new, with like a 3% interest rate because I did the things they told me to do. I'm just saying strategy, strategy, strategy. Y'all stop operating off of strategy and stop working with people who are not going to tell you the truth and who are not going to be truthful with you. Work with people who want to see you win. That lady wanted to see me win. She didn't even know me. That lady called me back to check to see, did I do it? Did you follow through? Did you file the bankruptcy? I did. Or are you still scared? How are you feeling about it? I was like, well, ain't nothing to really feel about it. It's done now. And she was like, grieve the loss of your credit score. You worked hard for that credit score and now it's gone down the drain. She said, you can grieve the loss of that. She said, but we're not going to stay stuck in that. And that's what I tell some of us. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to lose. And when we lose, it's a sad day to lose. But what we're not going to do is sit back and watch other people win. I want us to get to a point where we are tired of watching other people win. Until you get to that point, you ain't ready to play for real. See, because the little stuff that we're doing, is it really even worth talking about? The little fun that we think we're having. While we sitting up watching Tubi, while we're all on TikTok, while we are scrolling and all of this stuff. I need us to stop. That's not why are you helping them win? Help yourself win. Everybody Educate said, I like that. Short, intense pain for long term pleasure. It makes so much sense. Absolutely. Absolutely. It makes so much sense. Get out of our head that it's been too long. Girl, stop. If somebody had told me, let me tell y'all, listen, I'm going to get off here because y'all know I can go. If somebody had told me 10 years ago, now I've been in my own business going on 8 years, but if somebody had walked up to me, and y'all know that we have those prophetic people in our life. And so if somebody had came up to me and said, hey, Chanel, received a word. I received a word from God. God told me to tell you. You know, people always tell you what God done told him to tell you. And I tell them, tell God to tell me. Because my line is open. And if it's blocked, go ahead and let me know what I need to do to unblock it. But you know what they do? They say, God told me to tell you. So if somebody that came up to me 10 years ago and said, Chanel, God told me to tell you that in 10 years, you're going to be able to live the life of your dreams. You're going to have blessings poured upon you that you never could have imagined. You're going to be able to do things that you never even dreamed of. But you're going to need to quit your job today. You need to quit. You're also going to lose your mother. She won't be with you. And you're going to lose some family relationships. They won't be available to you. And you're also going to need to kill off a part of yourself that is no longer serving you. Here's the contract. Would you like to sign now? I'd have looked at that lady and said, girl, if you don't get away from me, I'm just going to stay at my job. I'm just going to work because I know what this is going to give me. You can't even tell me specifically what the other thing is going to give me. All you can say is that I'm going to live the life of my dream. Now tell the truth. Tell the truth, shame the devil. If somebody came up to you right now and told you exactly where you was going to be and under what conditions, most of us would not do it. There are some people right now, they can't even stop to think about how miserable they were before and what level of relief they've received now, even though things may not be perfect. Even though things may not be perfect. I was talking to one of our colleagues just the other day. And as I was talking to him, he's had an amazing run. He's been a consultant for 3 years now. In 3 years, he's made $300,000. In 3 years, he's made $300,000. And he's had more free time than he's ever had in his whole life. He has a small kid. His son is about 7, maybe 8. I think his son is in 2nd grade. So he's about 8. He's been able to do chaperone trips, all of the dads with donuts. He's been able to do the baseball practice. He's been able to do so many things. Do you know, I was talking to this man, he checking in on me, seeing how things are going. And he was saying how he might have to go back into the classroom. He was not into the classroom. He's an administrator. He was like, he might have to go and become an administrator again because this ain't what he thought it was going to be. And I said, oh, well, tell me more. And so he's telling me about how he, would desire to have more consistent income and how it creates arguments between him and his wife. So I was like, oh, okay. And I already knew what was going on because keep in mind, I follow him on Facebook. I follow him on a couple of platforms. And we talk, probably once every 2 or 3 months, we have conversations, check in and stuff because we used to work together. And so I already know what's going on. See, because every time you get that good consulting check, you book a trip. Every time you get that good consulting check, you booking a trip that's $8,000-$9,000. Instead of, and his wife is part of the blame too, because she be right there on that trip with him and they little baby. Yes, she do. And so I let him keep talking. And then I said to him, I said, would you like for me to just agree with you? Or do you want me to tell you what might be something else that's going on? He started laughing. And y'all know when you got relationship with somebody, he said, oh, shoot. But he said the cuss word. He said, oh, shoot. I know you finna give it to me. He said, tell me what you see. I said, so last year you made over $100,000 in consulting. I said, but that wasn't enough. You didn't make enough. So now we're in 2024. Where are you at in 2024? How much money have you brought in? He said, I done brought in 100,000 this year. He said, I'm right at 100,000. By the end of the year, yeah, I'll probably be somewhere around 170, 180 or something. I said, so you're making more money than you've ever made. I said, but here's the problem. What I see is you make the money and then you spend the money. You don't prepare for future times of no money. When y'all taking them trips, I said, I take trips and I know how much they cost. I know how much money you got to put in. I know how that works. And you can't just be taking $9,000 and $10,000 trips. I said, I know when you book the trip, it's only $3,000, $4,000. But then when you get there, you got to rent the car, you got to pay for the excursions, you got to pay for the dinners. Those dinners cost money, y'all. I said, and so you left with a trip that cost 3,000, and then all these phantom costs sneak up on you. Then that credit card bill comes, and it's way more than what you expected. And now you got all these monthly bills, but you don't have monthly money because we're consultants and we have consulting money. And so you got to stop. You need some support. One of y'all got to be the financially savvy one who is going to keep the money in order. Kara Cozy said this. That's the word. Tell them planning for a rainy day is still real. Yes. And what we call it, see, we don't call it a rainy day because a rainy day for some, this may not be true for you, indicates gloom, doom, destruction. We call it a freedom fund. What is your freedom fund? The fund that will always keep you free. This is money that you could, because if you're budgeting your money, if you create a budget for what needs to be paid and then have a way to pay all of the things, y'all, I can't pay monthly insurance. I pay my insurance yearly. When I can't pay it yearly, I pay it every 6 months. Every 6 months. When I pay my house note, I don't pay a monthly house note. Now, that's not always the best plan because I would say, don't, like financially speaking, you shouldn't be paying them in advance. But I have to do what works for me. So I pay my house note up. And when I say I pay it up, I go into that automated system. I pay July. That comes out. The next day I pay August. That comes out. The next day I pay September. That comes out. The next day. So I pay months upon months. My goal is to always be 6 to 12 months in advance. So I ain't got to worry about where is my next money coming from. You can send $1,000 in on your electric bill. If your bill is only like $200 a month, you just paid it up for 5 months and they just sending you the bill to show you that you have a credit for every month. Like I said, we cannot operate off of excitement. We have to operate off of strategy. And then so I went on to tell my said, and so your wife is getting up going to work every day and she has to go to work every single day. You're at home a lot of days. And so you're doing stuff, but it's also frustrating to see you laying in the bed, not being productive. If you made 100,000 last year, why can't you double your efforts and make 200,000 this year? Because even in the conversation, he didn't say, "Oh, I'm gonna double that." He's content with the idea that I'm a six-figure earner. And I said, that's because you're not in a community or around other men. First of all, you're probably making the most amongst the people that you know. And second of all, they're looking at you and they think that you are living the life. And you are, but you are not appreciating the life that you live. I said, you get to go to all of your son's events. You get to be a stable figure in his life. You get to be a breadwinner. You get to make six figures. You get to be free. You don't have the stresses of the job. The only stress that you have is when is your next contract coming in. You love to be out mingling. You love to be talking to people. And so you are really living an amazing life. And he had to stop and he said, I hadn't thought about that, because all he thought about was what he didn't have. All he was thinking about was stuff is coming up, it's due. I ain't got no contract that's sending any money in right now, because the way contracts work, you can have a contract, but it may not be sending you money in at that moment. You got your 50%, but you don't get that other 50% until the end. Well, the end may not be until October. The end may not be until January. You see what I'm saying? So you got money that's coming, but it ain't here yet. And so that's what he's struggling with. But in the meantime, you're making spontaneous decisions. You're going out buying new cars because you looked in your bank account and had $52,000 and you got excited and you said, oh, I can afford a new car. No, you cannot. You cannot. What you need to do is fund that freedom fund. You need to get ahead on your bills, create a budget that you're going to stick with that still allows you to have the freedom that you need. And you need to be more respectful of the fact that your wife has the stable income and that she's getting up every day, going to work, and that her job is stressful. What are you doing to help her to not be so stressed at the job that you know is stressful? What effort have you made to alleviate any of her stress? So he felt like because he's taking the kids, the son to practice, which he loves anyway, he felt like because he's taking the son to practice and spends a lot of time with the son, but he didn't realize all of the mental work that his wife has to do. She has to plan the meals. She has to cook the meal. She got to go grocery shop. She got to do this. She got to do that. What are the things that you can take off our plate? So we had a really great conversation. But the only reason why he was able to have that conversation with me is because I'm a consultant and he's a consultant and we're in the same industry. And so I understand his problems. He understands my problems. Sometimes I'll call him. I'll say, hey, I got this superintendent he's a bit pushy. He ain't working with me. Man, this man is tripping. I tell him what the superintendent is saying. He keep putting me on hold. He keep, canceling the appointments. He don't call back the way he's supposed to do. Tell me what it is that I need to do. What am I doing wrong? He gives me real strategy of how to get through. And then sometimes he will hear what is happening and he'll say, Chanel, he ain't finna work with you. He ain't finna work with you. He'll be like, let me try giving him a call. Let me try giving him a call, and I'm gonna let him know, I'm calling from as a part of the Agile team, and we just want a minute of your time. And after he talks to him, he'll come back and he'll tell me what the problem is. Like sometimes he'll say, you was beating around the bush, you was taking too much time. And so I'm always refining my work too. But it's because we're in the same industry. We do the same work. And he's giving me a different perspective. Y'all got to get with people who can give y'all a different perspective and who will tell the truth, who will tell you the truth. That's all I'm saying. All right, y'all. Well, that's all I got. I ain't got no more. I'm finna do my little work. It's 12:49 here. I have 3 tasks that I need to do, and nothing's gonna stop me from doing it. I done been online. I done talked with y'all. I done gave y'all a good chat, and so now I'm finna go on and do my thing. When I get through doing my thing, I'm gonna go to the store and I'm gonna buy me a chair for my front porch because again, putting things off. The chair on my front porch is uncomfortable. It got a little break in it, and so why would I sit and wait until the chair falls apart before I replace it? So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna find this chair. I got to go to Home Goods and to a couple of places. I'm also gonna look online because I might be able to save myself the trip and look online. But I have in my mind what type of chair I want because I sit on the front porch every single day. So y'all take action, do the thing, stop talking yourself out of it. Let's make this happen. And I will talk to y'all later. See you later, Alonda. See y'all later.